The Old Man. That's right, folks. Just when you thought network television couldn't surprise you anymore. If is FX network? I'm gonna say it's kind of network because, yeah, it's got that weird feel to it. You just don't know what's going on anymore. Every single actor you think could be doing one thing is doing another thing, and you just never know who's gonna show up in a movie or show up on television. Thus is the case with The Old Man. Jeff Bridges, who is primarily a movie star at this point, said, you know what, I've been through a lot recently. My life took some weird turns. I've had a couple health scares that really shook me and rocked me to my core. I'm going to be a part of a really cool TV show that really shows you what an old actor could do. And thus we get The Old Man. And look, it's not breaking new ground. That's the thing about this. I really hope people understand when you go into it. It's not changing the game. It's just seeing classics and veterans of the field come in here and prove why they are veterans of the field. It's the story of two aged actors coming into their, not even prime, just into like their best years as like these authoritative figures, playing off each other, doing a weird cat and mouse game. It's really cool. So the basic premise is Jeff Bridges was this old agent who worked for the CIA, and suddenly an old case that had him like just pretty much like leave the organization has come back into light, and new targets from old friends and old targets are coming back to attack him, and thus he is sent on this mission to pretty much like save his life and the life of his child as his world starts to crumble around him. And the person who helped him escape in the first place is like charged of putting the hit out on him, like, you are the person who's going to reel him in. It's really interesting. And I think there's just a couple of just like really key moments that really make this work. First off, it is the writing. It is such a strong script where it's like, no, we clearly know what we're doing here. We're telling a compelling story. We know how to like have these actors play to the strengths in these words. It feels like we know how to write for John Lithgow. We know how to write for Jeff Bridges. We know how to write for Alia Shawkat. We know how to write for these characters and make their acting work phenomenally. And that's the other part about this too, is it's such a good symbiotic relationship between a script and an actor, because those three, Alia, John, and Jeff, holy shit, are they doing some phenomenal work, and everybody else was doing really good. But you just gotta commend people like Lithgow and Bridges for being like, I know it's television, but we know how to make this work, because Bridges is good in everything. The guy knows how to completely play into his strengths, and this is a character that's a little bit different than what he's doing. He's a little more gruff around the edges and angry, but you just get like that sense of that charm from him where you understand how this guy could get into any situation. When he gets angry and loud, you feel it. When he gets destructive and crazy, you feel it. His energy is so controlled, and you really believe that. And it's kind of like the opposite energy that Lithgow is presenting, where it's this controlled rage, but it's so quiet and calm. And at any moment you feel like this guy's going to say something poignant to the situation, but act in such a completely different way than the guy he is tracking. It's really good just to see those two veterans of the field presenting this story in such a cool way, because they are fantastic in this. Every scene they are in, you understand they know how to play the field, they know how to do this game. I don't know how many of the stunts Jeff Bridges did for himself, but it definitely feels like he would be committed to certain parts of those stunts, because they aren't these big, boisterous stunts. There's a couple of them where it's like these big action sequences, but there's just some where you're like, this is a guy who is putting himself in a situation where an actor would be comfortable doing those things, and I really like to see that. But to me, the honest-to-God standout of this show is Alia Shawkat, and I have been a fan of hers since Arrested Development. I love this girl. Every time she does something, I am interested in seeing what it's going to be, because you never know what you're going to get from her. This is one of her best performances because it is the quietest and most introverted we have seen her in a long time. It's not like a comedic, joking performance that she's kind of known for. It's just this subtle, quiet, stiff thing of this woman figuring out her identity in this world when everybody is going against her in these certain situations. It's so subtle, so nuanced, and I really dig what she's doing here. She is so good of just presenting her voice in such a calm, presentful manner that you understand, like, okay, she is clearly the level-headed one, but at any moment she could either yell at you, break down into tears, or be completely emotionless. I really like what she's doing here, and the way she plays off of everybody, especially Lithgow, like that need for that relationship of like a parental figure is so cool. And do you figure out her storyline kind of easy? Yeah, but the point is that's not the thing we're hiding from the show. we're telling you the story of these guys and how they got into this situation through flashbacks too, because a good percentage of the show is also the flashbacks, and they're interesting, they're believable. I don't understand how they figured out who to get for a young Jeff Bridges. You got really close. Like, that guy is really good. And the guy they got for Lithgow, I think, yeah, that's easy. You just got to get that kind of face with those glasses. But the Bridges, he's got the right facial structure and the right vocal mannerisms. It's really impressive. You just aren't expecting it from a show like this because it's a simple espionage thriller. We're going around the world meeting old friends and new friends and everyone in between. We have to get the people who are... We get our point of view ride-along character pretty early on in Amy Brennan. And yeah, she's fantastic. Is this her best performance? I don't know, but I love that she can do a show like this and have a believable role and act like an actual person. It is kind of like, oh, let's introduce you to the larger world we're a part of now, and that can get kind of repetitive and annoying, but the way she interacts with everybody, it's believable, it feels authentic. I like where the story goes, and the action, very impressive for what it's doing. Jon Watts directed some of this, which... he's a good director. I mean, I have been hesitant on some of his stuff, but you see when he's put on focus, he's doing some good stuff there. It's one of those shows where if it's lesser talents, lesser writers, and everybody involved is like, oh no, yeah, we're just making something easy and lighthearted here that's going to be whatever, it wouldn't work. But because you have a dedicated team on screen and off screen, it's something special. It turned this simple story about this guy having to go on the run one last time to protect his name into this really intense thriller with this aged actor. Kind of, I don't know if it's like Bridges or Lithgow given they're all for a final performance, but it's like we know what this role means to guys in our situation, so we're gonna play that situation the way we know how. And that's what I think is really impressive about this show. It's really cool. It looks great. It's shot great. It is well written. There are certain speeches that characters give that feel so good, that act so good, and it's just, you're never bored. Sometimes it's a little bit slow, and sometimes you're like, oh, the kind of like flashback stuff doesn't really interest you, but to get that flashback to tell you where we are in the present day, it's kind of important. I like the balance of the two. Is it the most brilliant show of all time? No, but great acting, great writing, and trustworthy directors giving a great performance behind the scenes. You got to commend it for that. It's rare that a show so simple has something so perfect behind it, and I really dig The Old Man for that. It is 7 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. I believe there is the chance it got renewed, or it could be a second season of some essence, but we'll see what happens there. If not, it's really impressive to see what this show did. So I recommend checking it out. The Old Man surprised me in ways I wasn't expecting. So, The Old Man, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.